in 2018 being diagnosed with an autoimmune condition.
Yeah.
And going into Stanford and finding out I had partial vision loss and I had severe psoriasis, triggered by the products I was using on myself and on others, I hustled so hard. And I would literally go in the back door of places to get in and find, like, pay the doormen. I've done it all. Yeah, when it comes to like Hollywood, learning all the ins and out of all of that. Like, I sat next to Kim Kardashian before she was anyone, like back in the day. I went to the Lord of the Rings, like, grand opening party. Because, you know, when you're in Hollywood and you're there, like, there's no starstruck. The U.S. didn't pass a law since 1938 around cosmetics.
Right.
And like, when we look at...
It's the Wild West there, yeah.
It's the Wild West, yeah.
Sublime Avenue.
All right, welcome people. Welcome next episode of Sublime Avenue podcast. I have the powerhouse of fashion and marketing, one person who can replace the whole power demand of ChatGPT. ChatGPT, if you need a power supply, forget about nuclear, forget about solar. Talk to Cassandra. It won't be cheap though, you know, but talk to her. She can replace all your needs. Yeah, Cassandra McClure with me. What's up with your amazing ability to just be so energetic? Like, you reply at like 2 a.m., 7 a.m., like anytime over the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how do you pull this off?
Well, that's just who I am. I was just talking to Andrew Mazzotti on the phone this morning at like 8 a.m. And he was like, you know, we have like a New York way of doing things. He's on the latest issue of the cover of Clean Living magazine. We just did a really big event at Camus this past weekend with like 250 people. And, you know, you either love us, pretend to love us, or you hate us, because we can rub people the wrong way. And like, we know that about ourselves because, you know, I'm called the B word all the time because we don't do the small talk as much as a lot of people would like. Like, how's the weather? I'm like, hey, where's this? Where's that? Let's go. We're moving. We're rolling. We're like, time is money. Yeah. And so my team rocks and rolls. Like, our agency lives to produce events and do PR and marketing and branding and work with, for this event, 85 brands at one time. Wow. It's a lot to manage. It's a lot of names in my head, but I don't just have to remember their first name. I have their first, last name, their guests, all their whole team, and then their brand and everything that's included within that brand. And it's a lot to remember. So we have a lot of spreadsheets and we have a lot of meetings. Like, I just drove here. It took me an hour to get from Palo Alto, and for an hour and a half, I was on the phone with Danielle, who's my co-event producer assistant, who we're working on our next event for the Super Bowl. So it's like nonstop. Like, do we take a break? You know, not really. And that's how I am. That's, you know, I'll get depressed if I'm not doing something, you know, of importance. So here we are.
So just to summarize, I think you clearly are the A-type personality. And you also are very like outcome and results driven. And if something doesn't happen, then you feel that you are not in your plate, or not doing enough. Basically, not comfortable with the fact that there is no results.
I'm always out of my comfort zone. I don't think I'm ever doing in my comfort zone. I'm always like, oh my God, can we do this? And that's a good question to ask yourself a lot. Like, I'm constantly pushing myself and my team and everyone around me. Wow. And that's why I work with really amazing people, because I push them. And again, some people hate me for it. They meet me and I'm giving them advice that they didn't ask for. So I definitely have done that sometimes. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to, because they're like, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, do you want me to really tell you? And they're like, yeah, like really excited. Like, I'm going to say all these great things about their brand, their packaging, like whatever it is. And I give them the real deal. Like, no, like, this is not right. This is off. This is crooked. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, you're amazing. I think you can do great. Here are all the solutions to how to fix these things, but this doesn't work. This doesn't scale. This isn't going to go to market. This isn't going to get sold. You want to go to Irwan? They're not going to take it. These are all the reasons why. And, you know, it's a lot of solopreneur founders that have worked with that are doing everything themselves. Yeah. And I can give this advice because I wasn't able to scale on my own. You can only go so far on your own. And so when you're ready to take the next step, like I couldn't have produced this magazine all by myself. I had to have the editor. I had to have the photographer. I had to have the makeup. I had to have all the people that formulate this. It's not just me. And then you have to have all the people that are inside of it. So did I try to do it by myself? Did I think I could? Have I done it with them and understand what it takes to do it? Yes. It's very important to be like a cook in the kitchen before you own the restaurant. 100%. Like I was the makeup artist on these shoots working in publications before. So I have worked all those. I've been the model. I've done the styling. I've done all those things. And that's what it really takes to be successful at this level. So I can dish it. And if you come to me and ask for that advice as a consultant, I'm going to guide you and give you all the life lessons. And if I don't have the answers, like I think one of my biggest strengths is knowing that and saying, let me get back to you and introduce you to the person that can bring you to point A to point B to where you're trying to go if I can't get you there. I'm not afraid to share my contacts or my connections. I think that's how it should be. And a lot of people are very... And look, do I want to protect people that I care about? Absolutely. There's a difference. But like when you're looking for something, it's like, no, talk to this guy. He said he knows this, or I've experienced this, whatever. It's like, I'm also called a promoter, right? Like there's personality types in terms of like the promoter, the nurturer, like Danielle's the nurturer on our team. She handles everybody's emotions when they're going through something. And I'm like the promoter, PR. I mean, that's what I specialize in. So.
Wonderful. I think feedback that is honest and actionable and feedback that actually puts people on the right track is a gift. And in a lot of cases, it might be not what people expect. Because it's very difficult to perceive your product or your service or your image from outside unless somebody else comes to you and shares feedback honestly. And especially in this country and on this side of on the West side, we kind of like to sugarcoat a lot. And it's rare to find somebody who doesn't do this, who is blunt. And honestly, when you're looking for a mentor, and we're going to talk about mentors, how to find them, but when you're looking for a mentor, you don't want a mentor who is going to sugarcoat you for your money, right? You want somebody who actually can change you such that you see results that you haven't seen before. And you are doing this for free. So I think I don't get why people are getting upset.
You got to give them a taste of who you are. Like that's why I have complimentary consults, but it's interesting. At my own event this past weekend, when I'm like, hey, are you enjoying yourself? Like, give me some feedback. They're like, oh my God, it's so amazing. And I'm like, okay, can you give me some constructive,
tell me more than
give me constructive criticism. And they kind of all like stop like, and I'm like, can you just think of one thing that was a little annoying? Like, I'm not just saying I dish it. I want it too, and I'll take it. Like, tell me how to be better. Like, tell me what about this event you didn't like. I heard the timeline was confusing for people. Like, there was too much information. We over communicated. That was great to know that people want to know less about our next event. So guess what? You're not going to hear about it. You're only going to know that it's Super Bowl, and that's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Because people can't, especially around this time of year and the holidays, like they have a million other holiday parties. They have a million other things going on. They have their family, they have their kids' recitals. There was 4 other events that night people were going bouncing around to. They can't keep it all in their mind, and they're not going to keep it all in their schedule. So it's like, just tell them when they need to be somewhere and like when something ends. Like that's basically all they needed to know. And everything else is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, but I think if people know what they're going for and they know the value, then they don't really need much of a over communication. They just need the very specific token of information on how to get there. But if it's somebody who's coming to your event fresh, new, and they don't know much about what you do, then for them, of course, the more information you give, the better it is. And I think there are multiple components for it's a known fact that people are not easily sharing what's on their mind for multiple reasons. Some just maybe don't they
even know how.
Yeah, they don't not really well with words, so to say. Okay, and when somebody of your like posture come and
I'm the host of the event, asking you to tell me what sucks about this event.
At them and
I'm serious.
Yeah, and they listen to you, and in 1 second you said 15 words, and they are all like hitting like bullets. It might feel a bit intimidating. Okay, but as soon as you get into business world, you kind of have to deal with people of this this delivery, this performance. Okay, and we'll talk about this as well. And the other component is, again, we kind of conditioned here to sugarcoat. So negative stuff is what we kind of keep inside, and then we just walk away and leave comments on Yelp instead of
we talk shit.
Yeah,
and like that's not cool.
Delivering face to face. Very cool. So you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned Super Bowl. Tell a bit more about what you're doing.
Well, the Super Bowl is in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And it's in it's in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
It's at Levi's Stadium, which is minutes from my house and my office. So I'm really excited. Not going to say too much, but we're working with brands and businesses and local founders and as a media company, working to curate something really amazing here. And earlier this year, we went to LA for the Oscars, and we had a really big blowout event there. And so we like to be around that for the brands and businesses that we're working with to give them that exposure. Like there's a media day, there's a whole week of events leading up. Bad Bunny's performing, but beyond that, there are so many other venues where there are A-list celebrities performing, rappers, musicians, artists, performing in various scopes, and then all the big parties that like Rolling Stones and Maxim, like all the other big name companies that'll be out here working the event. And then all the sub, Visit California, Visit Sonoma, Visit Napa, like everyone is hosting, everyone coming into town for the Super Bowl from all over the world. So it's just exciting to be in the mix and kind of be where everyone's going to be. So it's going to be a crazy couple weeks.
Awesome. Exciting.
Yeah.
We can talk about where we can collaborate on this topic. I want to have a packed agenda, and I want to move forward. Can you talk a bit more about your background? So there's some information about that you are from like Washington State.
Yeah. Still have my 206 number. Represent. It's definitely, my roots are there. My family's there. Some friends are there. I left as soon as I possibly could. It was very wet and rainy, kind of like it is in San Francisco today.
Yeah.
And I never liked the weather. Like I grew up not wanting to wear jeans and wear, I had a fashion sense. So I would go to school freezing in my dresses and just knew that was just never the environment for me. I wanted to do my makeup and hair from a young age, and all my friends, and like the rain and the cold weather ruins that. So I had always had when you see the palm trees in California and OC and like these shows, and you're like, oh my God, it's so glamorous. For me, it was like California is where I want to go. So I knew I wanted to move to LA from a young age. So as the day I turned 18, I left with a one-way ticket and ended up doing a lot, modeling, acting, working as a makeup artist, then going to a makeup school in Hollywood and working with some of the greats and working on a lot of music video sets and movie sets and TV shows. I've done it all. Yeah. When it comes to like Hollywood, learning all the ins and out of all of that, like going to like the biggest release. Like I sat next to Kim Kardashian before she was anyone, like back in the day. I went to the Lord of the Rings, like grand opening party. I was hanging out with like the main, what's his name? Like guy, like with him all night, like just hanging out. Because, when you're in Hollywood and you're there, like there's no starstruck. Like you're just all people.
Everybody's
Yeah. So that got out of my system really early. Like I was 19 with a fake ID going to all these things way before, you know, like I was sitting with Lionel Richie and I didn't know who he was. And now my younger, my mentees, I guess they're called, like the girls that I train and coach that are at like high schools around the Bay Area. When I say Lionel Richie, they're like, who's that? And I'm like, Nicole Richie's dad. They're like, who's that? Because it's just, they're 18. It's before their time. Yeah. So they don't know any of that. But like, yeah, I remember meeting Lionel Richie and like my friend was like, oh my God, this is Nicole Richie's dad. And just because of Simple Life with Paris Hilton, that's the only reason I knew. I was like, oh, cool. You're his dad or you're her dad. So that, you know, but there's a lot of that. And so Cortney Cox, like I met so many people through him. And then I was on music video with Tyga and Nicki Minaj and Chris Brown, that whole scene, Snoop Dogg, worked with him many times. Many DJs who are now deceased. I mean, Deadmau5, as many people know him. Eric Murillo, rest in peace. Like toured all over the country, all over the world, joined the PGA. I was the first stylist to tour with the European PGA. So they travel all over the world and I would style the WAGs, the wives and girlfriends of the professional golfers, toured all over, ended up in Dubai after like 30 countries, loved it there, got an apartment there for a while and literally signed with 2 agencies there, Bareface and Muse. So I worked for like Bulgari and like big, like F1. I was like, again, I was either modeling, I would use whatever I could to get where I needed to go and meet who I needed to meet, the sheikhs and the biggest DJs over there. And I love to go out and show up and show out and like introduce people. And I've always been like that. And if no matter who anyone was, like if they asked a question, I would be like trying to figure out the answer. And then they'd be like, who are you? And that's how I really became who I am today. Like, and I still have all these contacts in my phone. I can still hit anyone up at any time because I've been helpful to them at some point in their life. And they remember me for that. Like, I had nothing to gain. I would not ask for anything. I wasn't trying to do any, I wasn't trying to slight anyone. And I was always just open and giving and that's why I think I mentor a lot of women who've seen me in action and see what I do, and they want to build what I've built. So it's pretty cool.
Wonderful. Let me distill this to like some bits and tokens. So I think you were able to find your passion and strength, which includes passion, by doing makeup. You got good at this. You started to get recommended by other people, and this is how you built up a network of A-list celebrities around you. And I think
hustling, hustle. Like I was on those sites, like looking for castings. Like I didn't have a casting director in LA. So like, yes, I was good. I was getting referred, but I hustled so hard. And I would literally go in the back door of places to get in and find like, pay the doormen $100 to like get into the places that I knew I wanted to be in. So no mistake. If I wasn't taken as talent or an artist or go with somebody that I knew, I was paying the help to get in the back door. Like, I'm not afraid to say that because sometimes that's what you got to do. Or I would I would be paid the $20 to be like, one of the, workers to like doing serving or whatever. I would get in somehow. And that's just carried with me my whole life for sure.
That's amazing. So you are coming to the back door and you're saying, hey, I'm a makeup artist. Can you get me in? I'm going to be helpful.
If I knew that there was like a big production happening, like the Chris Brown, Love More, like music video, they already had their key makeup artist. Like, and I was young, so I was like, okay, I wonder if I can get in as a model. I didn't get cast until the very end after Tyga got there, and he was like, "Who's that?" I didn't dress like the girls casting for this like lingerie shoot. I was like, I wore a dress.
Yeah.
And he was like, she's going to be the one, like the main one. And so they pulled me to do the introductions of all the girls in the like fashion show. So he kind of swapped how it was going to go. And they told me like, you're done, go home, whatever. And I was like, just stood there. Like, I just wouldn't leave because I was like, no, I want to be here. So, and you know, I did it very quietly. You know, I was just trying to be where I thought I needed to be, and eventually it would take me to the next thing. And then, you know, it's just like in Napa or in Silicon Valley, like people know each other, people talk.
Yeah.
And then they eventually are like, hey, I saw you at this.
That girl. That makeup artist. I heard about you. Yeah. So I think one more thing that you are talking about, I want to summarize. So knowing your ways, getting in, but also good at thinking on your feet. So when you see opportunity to do something right there, you know what to do. You're kind of more natural at this. And this is how you kind of invent a role, you deliver value through being very creative as you go.
Yeah, I did one of a recent magazine we did, the title was The Art of Pivoting. So that's exactly it.
Perfect.
Being able to... Okay, you hear no. What does that really mean? Like you, instead of, oh, okay, I gotta go.
Okay,
I don't accept that. I'm like, okay, well, what about the other 400 opportunities? So it's really just the focus, like narrowing it down to, all right, how do I want to pivot in this room to talk to someone else, right? A lot of people would listen and say, oh, I was told to go home, but it's like, no, I didn't come all this way to go home. Like there's nothing for me at home by myself. Like everybody's here. So I think it takes a lot of balls to be able to do that. And I've never been physically thrown out of any place. I think, do I think being a woman is a little bit easier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I been in some uncomfortable situations because I shouldn't be somewhere? Yeah. But again, make friends with the people that are running something, and you know, you figure out what it is that they're after, and you help them with that, you know? And yeah, I've done it all.
Yeah, that's rough, and I think that's the ultimate hustling, as you mentioned. That's the hustler in you. But you didn't have to do this all the time, even though this experience is unbelievably positive, and you can gain from it. Even now, you if you exercise the very same muscle, you can get things rolling. So after some time, you gained reputation. You made an image of yourself, and people started to recognize you. So did you feel like new doors are opening for you, or did you still have to kind of go invent yourself every time?
Opportunities are presented all the time. I think, yeah, when I'm feeling down, I go back to the times like that someone saw me on the street or stopped me and were like, oh my God, can we have a picture? And then I'm like, oh, do they think I'm someone else? And they're like, oh my God, Cassandra, I follow you. Look, I like leave, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that happened in Vegas once. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, you know, like, because, you know, I don't have millions of followers. It's not like I'm on TV. I'm not a Kardashian, you know, but the people that know me and that follow me, or I change their life through clean beauty or living or whatever it is, like they know me. And so, yeah, I meet them along the way. And I think it's the times that I'm down, like that I can look back to that and say like, no, I'm making a difference in someone's life, even if it's one person or 10 people. Like that's why I started out to do what I do. And, you know, through my own personal struggles, with my health issues, because clearly I had a great career. I built my life around beauty and modeling and makeup. And then in 2018, being diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, and going into Stanford and finding out I had partial vision loss and I had severe psoriasis, triggered by the products I was using on myself and on others. and getting paid a lot of money to do that, I felt like I was doing a disservice and I was living this like lie. So I didn't understand like what was going on. So I did all this research and I found out the US didn't pass a law since 1938 around cosmetics.
Right.
And like when we look at...
It's a Wild West area.
It's a Wild West, yeah. So when we look at like alcohol, you can like look at a bottle, it'll say, oh, like, you know, if you're nursing, you know, don't drink this, like, you know, you can birth defects and all this stuff. Yeah. And when you look at a cigarette pack now, it'll show like what can happen if you smoke these things. Like it's not good for you. Mm-hmm. And there's laws and regulations around tobacco and all these things. But like when it comes to makeup, that doesn't exist. There's no warning labels on your eyeliner that is produced overseas and in a facility that could be infested with animals, like in their like animal droppings. There could be poisons in your products, and there's lead, and we know about asbestos and like all these things in our powders that we're using on our face, the baby powder that we're using on our children, the baby wash that we're putting in the bath with our kids and ourselves. Like not like having the understanding, like thinking, oh, we live in the US, we're safe, we're protected. That's not the case. And so I started the world's first clean beauty podcast in 2018. And that was really like everything I did before, it was just fun. Like there wasn't even really social media. That we had MySpace, but like I wasn't known. Like in LA, sure, but like around the world, no. So when I moved to the Bay Area, after my husband, who you know was a boyfriend at the time, I started that show, and that really catapulted because I had already went on tour with the PGA. I had already worked all over the world as a makeup artist. I had already done destination weddings in Italy and do like all these amazing places, and worked on dozens of campaign shoots. I had 100 weddings booked through my agency that year doing bridal makeup in the Bay Area. Like I had touched thousands of faces with the MAC, Makeup Forever, all the brands that I was using in my makeup kit. And so I started the show out of the frustration, but also to get a front row seat to hear from the clean beauty pioneers that led the way in clean, green, organic, sustainable products, so that I can not only try them, test them, but use them for like my clients. I wasn't done with makeup yet. I was still in it. That was 2018. So that show really, you know, with hundreds of interviews, I mean, everyone started to know who I was. They started inviting me to do panels and moderate and host events. And naturally, the magazine came in this past year. To highlight the founders even more, give them even more of a spotlight. You know, having a global podcast turn into like be it found anywhere as a radio show, and then be approached to have a radio show and grow it even further, and then start working with other podcasters. I think I've been a guest on close to 100 other shows. So that cross-pollination, like this episode will probably end up on my show too, because I like to share what other shows are out there. People want to hear from other hosts and hear about other topics. And so that was, you know, and that goes back to collaboration. So having that has always been, really big to me, which is how my collective stemmed naturally from my show, because that built a community. That's where my community really, you know, I had built these communities out of living in places in isolation, being on tour. Like I would go online and get people together, like, and so that was part of my nature, like building my own family kind of wherever I was, to not feel so alone. Like, where's the creatives? Calling on them. Like when I lived in Dubai, I would get photographers and makeup artists that lived down the street from each other that didn't know each other. Like no one had ever done that there. So like quickly in Dubai, I made a name for myself there too in the creative community. Like we were doing Dubai Fashion Week and all this stuff. So it was really fun. And so when I came to the Bay Area and everyone told me, what are you doing here? You'll never be successful because makeup, beauty, fashion in tech world is never going to work. Mm-hmm. I mean, I built Siliconvalley Rising Tide Society to 300 members in a year. Like we had meetings every month and tons of creatives and tons of styled shoots. And I have every wedding publication under my belt. We were I mean, we did a ton, like just with the creatives, because we all were so creative that we literally did a lot of styled shoots because we wanted the imagery, we needed the portfolio, we wanted the brand, like we wanted to connect, we wanted to be together. So I produced probably 100 different styled shoots, and that's how I made my name in the Bay Area in the creative community. So just copy paste, different place, but under different
specifics. Yeah, I think to summarize, no need to reinvent things that work. And if you know that something works in San Francisco, you can apply this in Dubai with its own specifics and see and get very similar results. Very cool. But I think you told a very powerful story about the Wild West of cosmetics in this country. And then you mentioned multiple big names, which are kitchen names in the cosmetics. I don't expect or suggest that you're going to like talk shit about them, but I kind of wanted to get a sense from you. So how much of cosmetics do you think is like quote unquote not fully safe or maybe unsafe?
We're getting there. So when I started, there was no clean at Sephora. There was no clean at Target, clean at Walmart. Like it literally says clean in green writing with the brands that are cleaner. And a lot of them are even local, like Target, all these, they are showing up because so many people are reacting to this. And if you think about it with food, there wasn't a lot of gluten-free options 5 or 10 years ago, but there are so many people with celiac, like my husband, that will react like he could die. You have to put those labels and have options for those people, or you as a company will not make money. So Chanel came out with clean. Garnier Fructis came out with clean. They all want to be EWG verified or have a seal for clean. So when the consumer with the money demands that these items are clean, that they're only going to put their money, we vote with our dollars, no matter how you want to cut it up. Like we spend our money either unknowing or out of laziness, but a lot of times, like once you can't unknow. If you hear about Johnson & Johnson and all the people that died, you may never support that brand again. I know personally, I would never buy it, even if I really needed baby powder really badly. Like I would never purchase that brand. It's not about talking bad about a company. It's they know what's in their products. They know that they're sourcing overseas in unfit facilities with low quality ingredients, and they don't care because no one ever questioned them. But now that consumers are waking up and they are looking for clean, this new generation barely wants to drink. Like
True.
They're clean from the inside out. Like they want to work out. They want to do a wellness fun run with Diplo at 6 a.m. in the cold. Like they want to do a disco party at a coffee shop versus a club. That says a lot. So yes, they know. They are doing the research. They are turning a label over and reading. And they know, if there's fragrance, if there's PEGs, if there's red dye number, they know that. Yeah. And they're buying that and they're spending more money to be healthier long term.
Some component that only has numbers in it. Like E315. What's that? I need to Google it up. And then a lot of them are marked like safe for, and then there's some like some caveat, like safe for like in small doses, or safe for like putting on your this part of the body but not the other one, and so on, which means it's not really safe for other kind of use. So it's fascinating, and like I think this movement is truly global, and clearly I don't even know why people are buying not clean stuff.
Well, it used to be because of the finances of a family or a person. They couldn't afford clean. Like 10 years ago, it was like $40 mascaras with clean formulas that didn't even work that well and were flaky. Now you can go in and there's Revlon and there's there's a clean brand next to it and you're looking at $8, $10. Like there are comparable clean options now across the board because of the consumer demand, which is really great for us. Food, not so much, because you can only create so much like organic, clean, healthy, local food before it goes bad. So it's different. But Now there really isn't an excuse. So unless you are addicted to a certain product and you're really loyal to a certain brand, you get it for free, or you just don't know, that's really the only reason, because there's not an excuse to use products that will literally ruin your eyesight. Like I had no idea I was doing that, using those products. And, if you go back in time, makeup was not, it makes you pretty or feel better, but it also is addicting. Makeup was created to make you need more of it. So that foundation's not so good for your pores or the redness, your rosacea, all these things. It's made so that you put more on the next day. It doesn't clear your skin up. So now there's so many brands that have skincare benefits. If you fall asleep with this foundation on, like, you're good. Don't worry about it, because it has like all these peptides and things in them. So do I still think you should wash your makeup off at night and wear a mask? Yes. But I've seen skin that has been completely damaged by eyeshadow that has stained eyelids, people's eyelids, like for life, because of certain colors, like blue, like that have, those dyes dyed their skin. The under eyes, wrinkles happen faster, which fuels the, cosmetic surgery industry. And, it's always about looking younger. And I hate that part of the industry, because I think we can all age gracefully, naturally, and look great. But that's a whole other conversation. So I think we're on a good path. I think all of us raising our voices and saying no, and not supporting the companies that are traditionally selling us not so good products, like, they can see their margins dropping and these other clean brands. And that's why they're buying them out too. They're buying out these clean brands. Yeah.
Because they want to they want to continue selling the things that people are buying. And if they see that the stuff they are making and they can't replicate the clean, so to say, then they just have to acquire. And this is good for the owners of the companies, but I don't know how good it is for consumption, because as soon as a bigger company buys something, they also buy the secrets of what is called clean. So question for you I had as we talked about this is, so do you think the future of clean cosmetics is going to be same as the organic food? Like there will be like a separate shelf where
there already is. You can go and buy an organic apple or a regular apple. Like, that's kind of always, what you're buying, right? Like, you pay a little bit more for the organic.
So this is where it gets nuanced, because if you've been to like the eggs shelf, then there is maybe 12 different kinds of organic eggs. There's like free range, there's pasture raised, there's like no antibiotics, this free, that free, and so on. And all of them are called organic. That's because we don't really have one single standard for what organic is. And everybody is trying to use the label organic in their own way.
Yeah, that's why I started to get away from the term clean beauty, and we rebranded into clean living, because clean beauty became like very...
like luxury label.
No, like fear mongering. Like, because there's no legal definition. Organic, not like that. That's different, because organic, they do. It's like a certain amount of, like low hormone, low pesticide, all that kind of stuff. Clean beauty is just, there's no legal definition. So anyone can use it. And it just became an issue. So in expanding with beyond beauty, because for me, it wasn't just beauty. Like, when I cleaned up my makeup, it was fragrance in my home. It was the laundry detergent I was using on my clothes. It was always way more than just beauty. So clean living was such a natural pivot for me, because people know me as clean bee or clean. And it was very, very natural. I still wanted to use the word clean, because clean eating, clean living. I mean, it just made sense, and no one was using clean living. And so I got the domains, I purchased everything, we got the magazine. We did all of that really early this year. And now there's already hundreds of thousands of hashtags, and everyone's using that term. And just like clean beauty, like I've sort of been ahead of the game on those things. Not that I left clean beauty behind, but there comes a point where you have to expand or you have to shrink. And I wasn't about to shrink and just stay in my clean beauty lane with my beauty products. Like it was, now we have sustainable fashion brands. I'm working with SF Fashion. We have all these food brands, beverage brands. We're working with these car companies. We have construction like we have so many brands that we help in our collective that are our collective members all over the world, and that wanted the exposure in the magazine and on the show. And I was just kind of sick of limiting myself, because I would hear it from both sides. Like my internal team, like, ooh, does that make sense for clean beauty? And then I'd have people consult with me and say, ugh, I'm not really into clean beauty, or I'm not in clean beauty. Like, does this make sense? And I was like, okay, I've heard that enough that we need to change. We need to pivot.
Yeah.
And so the strategy became, what are we going to do? And so it was actually my editor who was like, I think, clean living is like, that opens you up to everything, life. And I was like, I like it. So it was a very scary move to go from clean beauty. When I built my clean beauty kit and my clean beauty podcast, I mean, we rebranded everything. But I think now if you still search the term clean beauty on Google, like I will still come up on the first page.
Thanks to you. What do you think was the scariest component of this? Like, to me, clean beauty is a subset of clean living. Like if you use clean beauty, you also indulge in clean living, and the other way around. So you basically you expanded your own niche, right? So you went out of just one pod to multiple pods altogether. So to me, it's like logical. Why? What do you think was the most scary for you? That you are going to lose recognition because it's a different name?
Yeah, like acceptance and understanding, like my community, were they going to leave? Or are they going to, the beauty community that listened to the show, that supported, that came out to events, like would I shy away? Would I become everything? And would I become diluted because now I'm doing everything? It's been the opposite. It's been really amazing, because clean living has been the gateway for these other industry leaders and brands and companies and founders. And they're like, oh, I never really thought about my candles. Yeah. I never really thought about my cleaning products as they're cleaning their, counters. And so when we give these bags full of gifts to them at these events for like our magazine launch, they're like, oh, I never even really thought about that. And so they can go home, try everything, and it's that convergence. And now they really feel like they're in this clean living social club. Yeah. Like that they want to tell their friends and family about, and their clients and customers. And that's what's been happening. So it's absolutely overwhelming. We grew our agency so fast this year because we've had so many people sign on and like sign up for what we're doing and sign up to the next event and the next thing, the next issue, subscribe to what we're doing and what we're sharing. Our newsletter's booming. It's been fantastic. Yeah. Best decision we've ever made, for sure.
Yeah. And I think one important point you're bringing up with this is that the audience usually doesn't follow one specific brand, but they follow the people behind the brand. And if people leave, then some chunk of this audience can also leave with them. So I think people branding is the most powerful branding you can do, personal brand. And if the personal brand includes like a whole company, a whole like mission, then it has secondary factors.
That is very true, because our first clean beauty like business retreat was in 2020, and we had 4 of those women at this event up in Napa that flew out that came to the first one and that wanted to be a part of this one. So they absolutely stayed part of our community, even stronger, still huge advocates for what we're doing. And I rub off on people, which is really cool because they're now helping like their own mother with switching out her shampoo and conditioner to a cleaner, or it can just be little things that like literally will change their life. And I'll get these like emails like, oh my gosh, like I got my husband to stop using plastic water bottles at work. Like little things like that I'm just like, that's so cool, you know? And they're so proud of that. And many of them have started their own shows.
Yeah.
Publications, written their own books, and I've helped them do that, which is also really cool because it's furthering the mission. And I've never really looked at anyone as competition. Like we should all be doing this. Like if we all did this, we would all live in a cleaner, greener, more sustainable world and like breathe cleaner air and drink cleaner water and walk on cleaner streets and have better education for our children and like make better decisions as a community and be more connected.
Yeah, I think overall that's where we are trying to go as a society. Those topics are also very political. And like recently, there was a pushback on like climate change topics, on like electric cars, which are not just cleaner locally, but it's a very different experience of driving. So I think that's where things were done interestingly well. Yeah, people don't want to go back to like gasoline anymore, because they're used to the way electric car is driving. And when they go back, it feels like very clunky, very like inconsistent and whatnot. It's like it's interesting that the whole premise that made people move from gasoline to electric is not valuable anymore. So that's an example.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me ask a couple more questions on this topic, and then we'll go into other things. So one of them is, do you see the future of like clean living and clean cosmetics as something that can be regulated by government? Like say there's some agency that tests cosmetics properly and then labels accordingly. And when the cosmetics has been rolled, then we can have like legal definition of what clean is.
Yes. So the Cosmetic Fragrance Act was, I believe that goes into effect this year.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's based in California. Like Newsom helped pass that.
Amazing.
And what happens is when Congress passes like a fragrance and flavor ingredient law, the companies don't just send a product to California to be sold in California, because as you know, Amazon is located everywhere and those warehouses don't ship specifically to one state. It becomes a national like protocol for everybody. So they are now requiring cosmetic companies to disclose specific potentially harmful fragrance and flavor ingredients like carcinogens, like and reproductive toxins, like I was talking about earlier, and what affected me, my allergies, to the Department of Public Health. So this will remove the loophole for fragrance to be used on the back of ingredient labels that have most people just, they're like, oh, I can read that. It says fragrance. Like it must be like a fragrance. Like they don't really think about it. But fragrance is actually a really bad loophole name that you can put 200 other, you could put lead in there and say, oh, it's a part of the fragrance that we put. So it's actually it's used as a weapon now. And so that's why they're making this disclosure act for to comply. And so federally, state, and the EU has been ahead of us for a while regarding those things. And, with food too, it's so much healthier overseas.
Yeah.
So we are catching up, but yeah, it depends who's running the country and what actually, things can get delayed and other things can come up that, unfortunately, if that isn't a priority, if our health and safety isn't a priority, then things can get pushed and overlooked, and if there's no one to regulate, and that if the regulators all get fired, then I guess there's no one to regulate it.
Regulate, it's going to go back to Wild West.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a loophole that we the breast cancer prevention partners. I was working on Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, and all these companies championing them and working with the companies that were providing funds for them to go out and lobby and do these things. And I've been working with them since 2018. Beauty Counter was the first one, and they would go to the White House, lobby, campaign, go in and meet everybody. And we were getting things slowly starting to pass, like when it came to cosmetics and women's health and children's health. But it takes a long time for these things to go into effect.
Sure. But I think you deserve huge props for pushing it all the way till at least it becomes law in California. And if we help Cassandra and vote, then she can probably become the next head of CDC. At least we're going to get clean cosmetics this way. So Cassandra for please. CDC 2020, 30, but whenever they're going to change. Very cool. One thing I wanted to ask you on this topic, which I think deserves a special call out. So you built a product called Lash Binder. So talk about this. Like it's very interesting to like learn how people realize that there is an opportunity, that there is a problem to solve, and then how they go from design to actual like product in everybody's like suitcases.
Yeah. So when my issue happened with my health and I started my show, I mean, podcasts traditionally don't make money. So I was like, what could I do on the side? I've always wanted to have a product. Why don't I like build something and like learn what that is like? So Lash Binder came to be on a trip with my now husband, and the idea came, the sketches, we did everything from the living room. He was kind of, I watched him build several startups. His last one he sold to Amazon, and it was really inspiring. And I was like, well, I want to build something. And so that's kind of how it happened. And so he helped me with like the patents and the submissions and all the paperwork and boring stuff. I wanted to do the creative, the artistic side, and build the brand. So we did, and we got to do really cool partnerships with like BoxyCharm, Ipsy, and build a brand. And that's how the Clean Living Founder Collective came to be naturally, because I got to go through how to launch, a brand website, e-commerce, shipping, packaging, manufacturing, working with China on boxes and prototypes and, injection molding, and like learning about all these different things and COGS, like cost of goods, like learning all these terms and being able to talk to founders. That's how I became a consultant, because I built a brand, launched it, raised money for it, ran a Kickstarter, was approached by Sharktank, did all those things, and got that experience. Like, beyond just, and because I was a makeup artist and a model and an influencer, coming and bringing all that together, it was like, wow, this is still hard. And I have all this experience. Yeah. So, and having an MIT, I mean, my husband's a genius, and having him on my team, like, it's hard. And we're in Silicon Valley, where we can get funding and we can grow, and have access to, Sephora and all these big companies are here. Like, it was hard. So we went to Cosmoprof, we went to Beauty Matter, we went to all these trade shows, and I was promoting, and I was sending them to celebrity makeup artists, and I was getting it on TV, and I was, doing PR campaigns. And even with my show, I mean, it was so hard to scale. So yeah, I learned, and that was an experience that I'll always keep with me. And it helps me still to this day talk to founders and help them understand the process. And yeah, they're always like, how do you know about that? And yeah, it's because I did it. I built a brand. And so, yeah. And then working on influencer campaigns and Instagram and TikTok, and like, setting up all those things. I mean, it's really hard and you can't do it by yourself, which is why, again, I'm not telling like a founder to discourage them when they come to me and tell me they do everything. I'm just like, you're going to experience burnout within, and I'll tell them the time frame. I'll say in 6 months, 12 months, because you can't go forever all by yourself doing everything and be successful. Like there's no way. That goes for all of us. And so, that's where that reality check comes from, is like my own experience.
Wonderful. So can people still buy a lash binder, or is it not a thing anymore?
You can find it. Yeah. But there are knockoffs now. So once everything expired legally, like with patents, now they're everywhere. Yeah. Lash companies use the tool and use our. I created a methodology around the tool and how to use it, and like that has been and look, I did it to help people, so fine. You know, this happens with everything, right? Like it's reproduced and so.
It's interesting that you mentioned Shark Tank, because I think they have very good sense of what's new and what's coming for inventions.
The last big event I did was in, it was called Newtopia Now. It's a spin-off of like Expo East, Expo West. It's like more entry level because it's not so expensive to get into. And they made me a judge on the panel for all these companies, like to pitch and get a check to go home with. And that was a new industry, but all the same things are still apply.
Right.
It's like your finance, your team, your distribution, your runway, all those things. And so I was like, why are they putting me on a food panel? But then it's like, you know, like you do your research, you see who's done what and what experience they have and what is needed in a judge. And so that's why I was invited to do that. And an ice cream company that was Smear Case ended up winning because they're really innovative. And so it's interesting. Like you can, like, again, and it was because I expanded into clean living. I wasn't clean beauty anymore. So they were like, hey, come out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I met Daymond John in Miami. I got him to go get a drink with me for a meeting, pitched him Lash Binder.
Yeah.
When it was still a concept. And I also had this idea of a makeup case, which now exists, where all of your makeup can be in one case, like your lip gloss, your eyeshadow, your blush, and now there's custom palettes that like every company has. But I pitched him on that idea, and he's like, how's that different? I'm like, it doesn't exist. There's not a palette that you can open. It's all your custom colors for your whole face, and then you can close it up and bring it with you with a mirror,
just
with the
for
brushes.
your face, yes, for your skin tone and everything.
Yes,
Very
like
cool.
fully customized. And he was like asking me all these questions about how and where would it be from and I was like, no, but like this is going to be a big thing. Like if we can build this, like if I can get the funding, I can build it. And he was just like, yeah, and like the conversation never went anywhere. But I was like, ugh. But now there's many companies that have this and they've done, you know, very well. But I had a couple different ideas that we went over, and then I don't even know how I got connected with him. But again, it was like the hustle. Like I was hustling, and I was like, I found out he was in Miami. I like flew there. I got to meet him. And I was unprepared, but I still met him, and he still remembers me. You know what I mean? So very interesting. And then years later with Shark Tank, I made it through the first round. I did the submission. They reached out to me. So that is something a lot of people don't even know. They do that. They'll reach out if they see something that they want on their show.
That they believe in,
Yeah. And so, I never made it in front of the judges on TV, but I'm glad because my life would look so different. I would have been a founder, and I ended up not liking being a product founder, a consumer product founder. It was not for me. Like I was meant to have community and do all the things that I'm doing now, because I was miserable after like a year, and I like shut it down myself, basically.
So I have a guess that Daymond could have suggested you, because it's difficult. There's so much going on, but the fact that you got connected to Daymond played in your favor many years after. So it's a lesson that networking is something that lives for, it has horizon, and this horizon can be very far. Okay, and if you prove yourself to be interesting and useful to the person, then they just remember you for many years after.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because I haven't talked to Lionel in like 10 or 15 years. And he wrote me the other day like, hey, and I'm like, I went to go look to see what he's doing. And he's like on tour in like Africa or something with his new book. And I was like, oh, wow. It's just really cool that, I'm remembered and like they see what I'm doing. Or the other day someone said, oh my God, I read your magazine. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I didn't know her and she knew the magazine. And so it's just amazing to have that kind of reach. Like we have 2.5 million readers and I don't know them. They don't follow me. Like they're just reading the magazine online in their own comfort of their own home, but they don't go find me to look me up. They just, they read the magazine. So it's really cool to have that kind of reach. And, the show does that too because you can listen anytime, anywhere, any place.
Yeah, I think social media does the very, very good job of reminding other people about you.
Social media is a whole other... Yeah, we have like millions of hits a month. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about this. My favorite topic, and it's something that a lot of my audience are after. So you do have substantial audience on Instagram and LinkedIn, at least. This is what I was able to see.
Sure.
And then you have your own magazine. So in terms of building audience and in terms of keeping engagement, like what did you learn works for you, and how is it different between different platforms? So like something that would work on LinkedIn wouldn't work on Instagram and the other way around.
I really just like, I mean, I have to remember to post on LinkedIn. I have a really good community on there. I've built like a really good Bay Area base on there. And so whenever I do go on there, I find a lot of value. Like, I mean, it's very business minded centric. So I try to use that when I can, especially with events and things. I love hosting events on there because I get great people. Instagram is like fun. You can kind of do whatever. I think video right now is really where it's at because people are watching like shorts and all of that, reels. But photos are also powerful. Sometimes I just did a post yesterday. It's like thousands of views, because they're seeing so many videos that they see a photo and they stop for a second. So you never know. I think it's the algorithm and all of that is just like exhausting to think about. They're constantly changing stuff around. And I feel like I'm seeing a lot of AI right now. And I really don't like that because I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. And it's like fake news, like on steroids. And it's really frustrating. I follow certain people. I want to see their content, not all these random ads all the time. So that's been tough. And I know if I'm feeling like that, my audience is feeling like that. So where can I show up for them that matters, which is why I'm leaning into the magazine, why I'm leaning into radio and the show and other shows, other hosts that can get that information out. They can get it from the source. And then they go directly to my page versus scrolling and finding me that way. I find that that's usually how it works. Like they're going through my content that way. YouTube, I built that and have so many videos from all my experience on YouTube as well. I built my Pinterest at one point. We had like 100K hits a month. Like I had someone working that, and Pinterest is really big. I still have a robust following on there too. But it's not where I spend my time. Like you got to pick, you got to choose unless I have an entire social team managing everything full time, which I haven't. It's really spent on the media, which is, the publication. We have online distribution on newsstands globally. And then we have the show, which is distributed on every platform as well.
So podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the weekly show we used to have, but we're ramping back up and we have some exciting things happening.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When you came up with the Clean Living podcast,
it's the Cassandra McClure show.
Yeah, you rebranded. So
rebranded really quickly. Yeah.
How did you what was your strategy for finding guests? Was it natural? Everybody who you experienced as you built your company, and then you go, hey, you have good thoughts, good ideas, come to my show? Or did you have a special strategy? I want to invite this person, that person. So.
Yeah, it was like initially it was all the OGs, like in Credo. When I walked in there, who was it? It was like the Juice Beauty, the Inner Sense, the Indie Lee, Carrie Grant, like who was there with name brands that like I respected and I knew were truly clean. So that's how it started. And then they would tell the other founders, and like naturally we still get inquiries every day. People reaching out, can we come on the show? Brands just want to advertise and talk about their product and sell their product and give their website and all of that. So it's been like weeding them out. Because I've never wanted to just sell ad placement on my show. I just never really did that. It was authentic conversations. It was people that I met that I found interesting. So just like how you invited me, it was like real connection, real conversations. Or they saw what I did in an event or something and they were like, hey, let's work together. Let's plan something together. Let's build something together. Let's produce something. Or can you produce for us? And so we've done a lot of launch parties, a lot of product launches or brand launches or brick and mortar like grand openings. We've done that a lot for companies in the Bay Area, or collabs like we just did with Camus Rutherford. Like bringing new blood into Napa that would have otherwise never even knew that existed, because Camus doesn't have. They don't market. They don't advertise. They don't have a wine club. They're like, the OGs, like winery, so bringing our community of like 250 women and men from all over to come in to experience their wine and all of that, like brought extreme value into their establishment. And then all of our brands got to do something really cool that they've never done before. So that was a really great partnership. And now we're getting invited to other wineries to do the same thing around Sonoma and Napa and beyond. So we're really excited for everything that 2026 will bring. Like usually that's kind of how most of my partnerships go. They'll see what we've done for Climate Week or a fashion show or one of these big trade shows where I'm working a panel or I'm judging something, and they'll say, hey, like, can you come to my event or can you help me do this? Like, how do you do this? And so that's where I focus my time.
Yeah. So it sounds like your strategy for networking and for building the footprint is a combination of social media, so digital, and also being present physically at different events with audiences, and then see if you can cross-pollinate.
Absolutely. Events are my love language, getting people together, community, connection. There's nothing like in real life, especially now more than ever. So we host events every month. We have a luncheon tomorrow. We have an event in the city on Sunday. We're constantly doing events, Super Bowl, as you know, in February. And we have like a tour. So we go all around California, and then we've been asked to go to like New York, Chicago, Boston, kind of Florida. And so me and a couple of my co-producers or our other partners in other locations will bring us in to host. We'll do Monterey Car Week this next year. So just, we usually do the Oscars, but that's in March. So whatever comes our way, like we bring in what is needed and build with other companies. Like that's where the real magic happens. So yes, events are huge. And my mom was an event coordinator. Like I grew up working events. Like she had an event company. So that's, I think, where I get that, because I saw the magic that would happen when people got together, whether they were family or business associates. Absolutely.
I love it. So getting back to podcasts, you find your guests through this activity, or is there a list of people you want to get on the podcast and for some reason they either don't respond or they postpone?
Oh my gosh. I haven't reached out to anybody from the show since 2018. Like when I first got off the ground, the first person I asked said yes. And it was like Karen Benke of Juice Beauty. And once I had her on the show, they just rolled in because she was the biggest name in clean beauty. So that I was really lucky. I was strategic enough enough to do that, and I got that credibility. And because of my story of like this autoimmune, like being a celebrity makeup artist and then not being able to use the products, it was insane. Yeah. So the brands wanted me to be able to use those products on these celebrities, on these TV shows, is actively doing that. So that I'm very blessed and lucky in that regard. Now I'm getting I'm getting the inquiry. So 99% of the time it's a no. Aisha Curry's team just reached out to come on recently, and that's one I'm waiting. Once our studio is built in Palo Alto, we're doing we're working on that. That should be done in February. Then I'll have her come into the studio, because that's when I want one-on-one in person. Because I did a lot of digital, right? Especially during COVID, we had like 90 different live streams that we did every week. I mean, COVID lasted forever. And so that was never ending. We did like live streams for that, where we had like 50 or 100 people join from all over the world live on a live streamed podcast interview or summit, we were calling them. Yeah. Where you could ask and talk to all these founders, because they couldn't leave their house. So we were getting the big names.
Your name is big. We've done, I think, 2 live streams. One of those cameras.
They're really fun.
Yeah, they're fun. It's not that much about the quality of production, how much it is the actual immediate questions from the audience.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, live stream is where it's at.
A couple more things. So you mentioned family support. So your mom was maybe still running an events company. Mm-hmm. So is she still in Washington? Are you guys close? Mm-hmm. Like, do you do anything together?
Yeah, I mean, she has some health issues, so she's much older now, but she used to set up like at Bill Gates' house in Seattle, like for big, events for Microsoft and things. And so I was always in awe of, lots of weddings. So like my first bride actually booked through going to one of her bridal, I asked her if I could bring my chair and my makeup, and I was like, I don't know, 16 or something. And I was like, can I bring my makeup to your rental, pop-up at this wedding show? And she was like, yeah. And once again, I did the makeup for the fashion show with the models, and I walked in the fashion show. Like, I was even getting in wherever I could in that scene, because I knew the wedding planners are connected to the photographers, and the photographers are connected to the florists, and all of those networks, they're close. Like in any industry, it's close. Just like in the film industry, there's only so many film and video and and production assistants and all these people. So I got to know all of them, so yes, they're all still there, but she's out of that world now. But that was my foundation for learning about the events world and production.
Perfect. And you mentioned your husband, who was your backbone.
My husband's actually featured in this issue of the magazine. His company is called Hopper AI. It's an AI startup company, and it's hopper.dev. You can go check that out. But he was at Microsoft. He was a VP. Then he sold his last company, the Ring car camera, which was formerly known as Owl. He built that in our living room. Engineer. He does hardware, software. So just a genius. We also have really, really great brands like Nobilux Escapes. They're one of they were our drivers for this past weekend. Brandon, who runs that. The R in Napa, shout out to them for hosting our entire founder retreat up in Napa. Sean runs that establishment. It's a 16-room boutique hotel up in Napa. They're featured in this latest issue. We also have Camus Vineyards, who we talked about, the Napa Valley Car Club. Andrew runs that. And they have 5 partners that are all featured in this issue with their own businesses. And we have SF Fashion, Curie Social. My makeup artist is in there. Holy Hair, she's a local hair artist. We have a surgeon, Dr. Shamli Singhal, who is amazing. She runs El Camino Women's Hospital. And then Wild Noni, we're drinking this. This is a great beverage brand. It's a sparkling juice beverage from the noni fruit, and it's no alcohol, no caffeine, no added sugar, super yummy. And so these were a hit at all of our recent events. Our DJ BC, he's a local Bay Area DJ. He jammed out all night. We have Kavacha. She has beautiful sacred armor, like jewelry, who's local. So as you can see, living like opened us up to all these other industries and brands and people. We have celebrity chef Elizabeth Binder on Beat Bobby Flay. She's in here. She did our welcome brunch. It was fantastic. So Dotto Construction, who would have known we're like working with sustainable construction companies and stuff. It's so cool. Like family owned, love them. So such a joy to have expanded, and thank you for coming out to the event and having me on your show. I super appreciate it, and I hope everyone can go check out the publication. They can read it free online.
You are also a mom. How do you manage all that with being a family person?
Yeah, thank God for childcare. Like she's in school full time since she was 18 months old, so about a year and a half. I put her in school the day she could go because I knew, I love being a mom, but business is where my heart is. Like for me to be mentally okay, she needs to be in school, and that's the best for her. And I need to be working on my business because I live in the world's most expensive town.
Right.
And it is not cheap. I also manage property on the side. So I have 4 rentals, 2 more on the way, an office building, and we're homeowners in Palo Alto as well. So it's a lot to manage. So we work very hard, and we have these startups. So I love being, having a daughter, but we're really lucky to have like built-in family and support from the local community that I built. It
costs a lot, and it is worth a lot. Like your family is when, I think this is the meaning of having a tribe. It's not just your parents, but it's anybody who can contribute to upbringing the new generation. What celebrity would you switch your closet with?
Honestly, I don't like saying her name, but Kim Kardashian, just because she has so much stuff. But I don't think we would actually fit anything. Like she's like so short. I never really thought about it, so I don't know. Maybe Hailey Bieber. Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. Okay, and 2 more things. Recommend a book and a movie to watch.
A book. The Art of Pivot movie.
Yeah, movie recommendation.
Oh, geez. I don't have time to watch movies. I don't know. I like Fast and Furious. Like, I don't know, like what's new that's good that I like. Oh my God.
Avatar. This week is Avatar.
Avatar?
The 3rd one.
Okay. I'll have to go watch that when I have some time. Okay. Last night, I'll be honest. I let my daughter watch Moana 2. But like, that's the only movie time that I ever get in.
Yeah. That's also an example of how you can multitask if you're very busy, but you have somebody who you kind of have to do activities which are a bit more of a leisure kind of activities than if you have a daughter, watch something with her.
Yeah.
And that's a good
That
example.
was our late night. She didn't want to go to bed. So I was like, okay, let's watch something semi-educational. So we watched the Disney Cruise Line thing about building, how they built all the sets. So that's how it started, because it was like 30-minute, like, here's how the new Disney, was it called? Disney Fantasy or something. It was a new cruise line, and they built like all the Moana, like each part of the ship, it's like a haunted bar, and like how they built it all. And she was super into it because she's like my husband. She's like technical already. She plays the violin. She's like singing. She's doing dance. She's in swim. She does all these things already. And so she's like, she has to have stuff going on. And so she was like learning, like learning about AV and like sets and design and all that kind of stuff. So that was how it started. And then I let her watch the movie after, because it was clearly like she was not ready for bed. So I let her stay up a little late.
Love it. Perfect example of thinking on your feet. All right, this was Cassandra McClure. Find her on her website, on her Instagram, Pinterest. I think you still have it going.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Cassandra McClure.
You can find me on my website, cleanlivingmagazine.com, cleanlivingsocialclub.com, cassandramcclure.com. It all reroutes back to me. And then at Cassandra McClure on Instagram, online. So I'm excited to connect with your audience and hopefully be back soon.
If you need a powerhouse, if you need somebody to give you honest feedback, which I think is rare and it's a gift. If you need a mentor, because I think you also have a mentorship program. So reach out to her and we're going to see what's your next move. We're going to follow you for your next move.